Hi guys, welcome to the next instalment of the tutorial series. This is starting to get slightly more advanced now. We learned in the last tutorial how to animate something. So we animated a platform moving across. Now we're going to look at how to trigger animations. And usually this has to be done with properties. So it is a little bit more advanced, but what you should get out of it is being able to do pretty much anything in terms of triggering your animations. So what I've created here is a main guy or a main player who can move around. There's two keys for him to collect, which at the minute do nothing apart from make themselves disappear. You should know how to do that from the collectible objects tutorial. There's an elevator here which we want to take him up to the top floor, but there's also some bars in front of it. Now, what I want to do is I want to make it so that once you've got a key, these bars will disappear, and B, if I've got a key and get inside the elevator, I can go up. But if I haven't got the key and I get inside the elevator won't move anywhere. Now I'm sure you can start to see the applications of this for your game. Okay, first of all, what we want to do is animate both this moving up, and we want obviously the bars to move up as well. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to click the bars, go into the timeline editor. Now I'm going to move through this pretty quick in terms of animating them, so if you're not sure how to animate, look at the last tutorial. Set to lock-rot scale. This is the start position, which is 0. I want to move through this pretty quick, so we've got the bars selected. I need to make sure that I call them bars, otherwise my animation isn't going to work correctly. And I've got the caps lock on there, just make sure you do it correctly. What we're going to do now is set a keyframe for being there, and then after 40 frames I want them to be completely disappeared. They're not going to come back up, they're just going to go down. I need to set my marker back to 0. Okay, so if I go back into the logic editor then, what we're going to say is if I collect the yellow key, the bars go down. The problem is, collecting the yellow key, I can only add the collision to the player or the key. But as you know from the previous tutorial, we have to do all the programming for the animation within this object. So let's do that now. Let's click this object and make the actuator for it. So it's going to be an action actuator. We're just going to play it and it's going to stop at the end. And it's going to be the bars action. End frame was 40. And that should go down now and it should stop. But how do we make it go down and stop? If we use an always center, it'll do it from the start. The best way of doing this is probably to send it a message. So let's send it a message called BD for bars down. I'm doing that in lowercase. Make sure you label everything again. I've not been doing that here in the interest of brevity, but you need to do that. Let's go into the key, and we've said that if we collide with the player, then it's going to make the object disappear. So if we click on the player, what we can say is if we collide with the key material, key 1, then we can send that message to our bars, and it's called BD for bars down. Join them up, that should work nicely. So if I hit that, it will make it disappear, it will send a message to the bars. If the bars receives a message, it will action the animation. Let's see if it works. Brilliant, it works exactly as I want. Now what I want to happen is for you to go into the elevator and it to go up. Now you're probably thinking, well, okay, so you could do a collision sensor in the elevator and when you collide with it, it goes up. But maybe we want to, I know we've got a key right next to it here, but we could hide the key in a different part of the level. Maybe you could start near the elevator and you can't get up and you have to go and find the key in order to go up. Well, if I grab the key and do the same as before, then the elevator is going to start going up without me, which is going to be a bit of a problem. So the best way I think to go about this is to not actually animate the elevator, but to animate this thing, this red thing that I've created. It's just a box. I'm going to call it EU for elevator up. You would call it, in fact, let's call it lift up. Trigger. So basically, if we hit that, the lift is going to go up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it a ghost and invisible. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to actually put this in the middle of the elevator, which means that as soon as you start touching the elevator, the whole elevator is not going to go up and sort of chop your head off. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it towards the back of the elevator, which means that you've actually got to be inside the elevator in order for it to go up. The problem is, again, with triggering stuff, if you're touching that, how does it trigger, all this good stuff. So an easy way of doing it is actually just to animate this object and just to parent the elevator to it. So if that's going to be the case, then the child comes first, the elevator becomes the child. I hold shift and select this thing and press Ctrl P. Object. So now if I move the elevator, the red thing doesn't move anywhere, which is no good. But if I animate this red thing, the elevator will move up, which is exactly what we want. Let's do that now. So let's go to the timeline editor. Got lock rot scale on. 0 is fine. Set a keyframe for it being there. And let's say it's going to move up over 150 frames, nice and slow. Lift the red thing up, the elevator moves with it to there. So that was 150 frames. So again, what we're going to do is put our marker back to 0, check that it works, go back to the logic editor. For the red thing, we're going to say that we want the action to work, which is lift up trigger action. End frame was 150, and we just want it to play. We don't want it to come back down again. So we're not using like loop stop, loop end, all that good stuff. And what we'll do is we will say that if we collide with it, so if our player 1 collides with it, then it will move. Let's see if that works. Come over here, grab the key, go inside it. If I touch the edge, it doesn't move anywhere. If I go all the way in, then look at that bad boy, our elevator starts to go up. But we've got a problem because it went up without us collecting the blue key, which is a bit of a problem. So what we need to do is we need to set a property. So what we're going to do is for our red thing, over here your properties are, we're going to call it blue key. And we could use a variety of different things here. Let's just use integer because it's easy. We're going to set it to 0. So at the minute, this property equals 0. But what we're going to say is you have to collide with it, and the property, so we're going to add a property sensor, has to equal, for your blue key, 1 in order for the lift to go up. What does that mean? That means that if you hit the red thing and this property is still 0, this won't be true. So the elevator won't go anywhere. Let's test that theory. So grab the yellow key, which is over here somewhere, bars go down, go inside, and the elevator's stuck. Doesn't move anywhere. You've not got access to go upstairs. So what we can do now is for this blue key, we've made it disappear when you hit it. We could actually say for our guy, if you collide with the blue key, then we're going to send a message to our, what did we call it, lift up trigger, that says access maybe, maybe up. So we'll just use something simple like up. Again, you need to be naming all these, otherwise they won't make sense to you later on. Join them together. So if you get a blue key, it sends a message to that says up. Then all we need to do is click on the red thing, and say if you receive a message called up, then this property here, you can set it a value of 1. So let's have a quick review over how that works. If my character hits the blue key sends a message to the red thing. If the red thing receives a message, then it alters its property from 0 to 1. And if its property equals 1 and you touch it, you can go up. Bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But let's see how that works. So go inside the camera, press P. If I come over and grab the yellow key, the bars should have just gone down. Yes, they have. If I go inside the elevator, it doesn't do anything. In fact, this camera angle is not very good. I'm going to play it outside. So if I grab the yellow key, bars go down. Great stuff. If I get inside the elevator, it doesn't go up. If I grab the blue key, look at that bad boy. Right, excellent. Awesomeness level 5,842. If you can get your head around this, guys, you can make some amazing games. See you next time.